That's what we got for American farmers is zero empathy. We want them to fail. That's what you're saying out there. That's what Americans are saying right now.
I'm never going to do anything to hurt our farmers.
The One Big Beautiful Bill will also be an incredible victory for American farmers, another group that we did great with, especially family farmers.
Never thought I was going to lose this much money, this fast.
Hi lovelies, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Olinda Strana. Thank you so much for all the love and support. To my returning subscribers, to those people that share my videos and leave comments.
I came across this video on my For You and I thought to share why farmers are having an emotional breakdown, or would I even call it a mental breakdown, to the fact that they cannot take it anymore. They are losing their farms, they are losing their product, they cannot even afford to fend for their families anymore. They are calling out for a fallback, lovelies. They cannot take it any longer. I'm just going to roll the clip I was able to put together. Please leave me your own thought in the comment section of what you think of this video, and please do not forget that we do not support any bullying and harassment.
That's what we got for American farmers is zero empathy. We want them to fail. That's what you're saying out there. That's what Americans are saying right now is well, you know, next time you'll vote the right way, or that's what you get for who you voted for.
What do you want me to do? Be specific. Tell me exactly what the fuck you want me to do. And I dare you to look at my content and tell me I don't have fucking empathy. Matter of fact, I made a video after all this shit went down back in like December or November and said, hey, it's not too late, y'all. If you fucked up, you gotta know shit's going south. We still have time for y'all to make some calls for you to get on the right side of history here. And do you know what they fucking told me? They told me to shove it up my ass. They called me a fucking groomer. They told me I was a child abuser, a fucking snowflake, all that shit. That's what they fucking said to me. And now I'm supposed to what? Have some kind of patriotic empathy because I don't want our country to go down? No, the fuck I don't want our country to go down. But I don't give a fuck about the people who caused it.
I'm never going to do anything to hurt our farmers.
The One Big Beautiful Bill will also be an incredible victory for American farmers, another group that we did great with, especially family farmers.
Never thought I was going to lose this much money, this fast.
Jim is a Republican who voted for Donald Trump 3 times.
How do you feel about your vote for Donald Trump now?
Well, I feel like perhaps I should have considered some other options.
I did a 90-day pause for the people that didn't retaliate, because I told them if you retaliate, we're going to double it. And that's what I did with China, because they did retaliate.
We are very concerned about the current outlook. As a soybean farmer, we are dependent on trade. Right at 50% of the soybeans produced in the United States are exported. China takes more of our soybeans than all other foreign customers combined. So they're a major part of our market, and this trade war is very concerning to us right now.
I've never been as worried as I am now about whether or not my kids and grandkids will be able to carry on.
He said, I love you, Mr. Trump. I need to see the fruit of your love.
We depend on the Chinese market, and the reason we depend so much on this market is China consumes 61% of soybeans produced worldwide. The rest of the world is 39%. Of the soybeans that American farmers produce, 25% currently have been going to China. And right now we have 0 sold for this crop that's starting to be harvested right now. So it's a 5-alarm fire for our industry that 25% of our total sales is currently missing. And right now we are not price competitive with Brazil due to the retaliatory tariffs that are in place. Our prices are about 20% higher, and that means that the Chinese are going elsewhere because they can find a better value. And the American soybean farmers and their families are suffering. There's 500,000 of us that produce soybeans, and we desperately need markets, and we need opportunity, and we need a level playing field so we can compete, because we grow a great product, but we have to be price competitive as well. And there's an artificial barrier that is built with these tariffs. Well, we depend on the Chinese.
Farmers are going bankrupt in waves, right? We see that. But here's the thing. The very man that most of them voted for lit half the match. And every time a family farm dies, somehow it's the billionaires and corporations walking away with more land. You think that's a coincidence? Let's start with the trade war in 2018. Trump slapped tariffs on China. Soybean exports gone. Prices crashed. And farmers sat on mountains of crops that they couldn't sell. Then came the bailouts. $28 billion in so-called aid. But look at the receipts, right? The top 10% of farms swallowed most of that money. Small family-owned farms? Pennies. Folks in Arkansas and the Midwest saw their neighbors lose land, all while mega operations cashed checks. And if we fast forward to now, Trump's promise of more help, it sounded real nice on stage, huh? But the structure has not changed. The policies tilt towards whoever's the biggest, not whoever's struggling. And when those farms fold, the land doesn't vanish. It gets scooped up. Bill Gates owns over 240,000 acres. BlackRock, foreign companies, hedge funds, all buying dirt cheap. Meanwhile, Trump's administration cut back on antitrust enforcement. That meant that seeding chemical giants kept jacking up the input prices. So farmers were squeezed on both ends, paying more to plant and getting less when they sold. In the safety net, Trump gutted programs like the Conservation Stewardship Program. That rewarded small-scale sustainability, while doubling down on subsidies that benefit corporate-scale operations. So, tell me again how that's helping family farms? So here's the pattern, right? Trade wars cripple markets. Bailouts feed the giants. Deregulation lets agribusiness hike costs. And the small guys, they drown. Then right on time, the billionaires show up with open checkbooks. Corporations expand and politicians spin it as bad luck. Or the market. But every so-called accident clears the board for the same winners. So no, this isn't just economics, it's politics. This is design. Trump stood on stage and called himself the farmer's guy, but his policies greased the slide that pushed family farms into bankruptcy and left their land ripe for billionaires to grab. Bananas, soybeans, now farmland, different product, same empire. The only coincidence that some of us are still out here pretending that it's not on purpose.
People are so going to regret that they voted for Donald Trump. Have you been hearing about farmers, especially soybean farmers? They overwhelmingly, apparently, voted for Trumpy. Headline in today's paper was, China's snub of U.S. soybeans is creating a crisis. China is the biggest market for U.S. soybeans. And China and America, thanks to Trumpy, are in a trade war. And so, China basically has stopped buying lots and lots of U.S. soybeans. And hence, the farmers are up a creek. There's a wonderful quote here from a farmer in North Dakota who said, quote, all of it is unnecessary. And here's the key line. The U.S. was not forced into this by anybody, which is 100% correct. Not forced at all. So Trumpy eliminated the number one market for U.S. soybeans. Do you know what the number two market was? USAID. You know, the people who, good-hearted Americans, gave food to because they were starving. People around the world. We, for decades and decades, gained goodwill around the world because we helped people who were starving. Well, those people aren't getting soybeans either from the U.S. because under Donnie and his good pal Elon Musk, Doge, you remember Doge, as Elon said one day, we took USAID to the wood chipper. There's no more USAID. I can kind of laugh about it, but it's very, very sad. Anyway, all these farmers, they're not happy. There's lots and lots of people going to find out that voting for Trump was one of the dumbest things they could possibly do.
I don't know if y'all know this about me, but I love seeing leopards eat faces. It is one of my favorite things to see, especially faces that knew they were going to get eaten if they voted this way.
I've never been as worried as I am now.
You better be.
Whether or not my kids and grandkids will be able to carry on.
He said, I love you, Mr. Trump. I need to see the fruit of your love.
5 of my customers have committed. That's how serious that this is. And what it costs for us to farm is astronomical now.
I farm with paid for equipment. All my tractors are 50 years old. And I can't hardly make this deal work. I think the tariffs are the ice cream on the cake of a perfect storm. After a horrible year last year where most farmers in Arkansas Delta lost money, this year's going to be worse.
Yeah, much worse.
In the spring. So my son will not be the second generation on our farm.
We're going to lose 25 or 30% of the farmers in this country if they don't do something. It has to be done, and it's not just here.
I mean, we told you guys. We told you this for months, years. The economy is dog shit. If you elect Donald Trump, it's going to fucking collapse, basically. But no, you didn't want that. And now your farms are gonna disappear. And farmers are fucking important as shit. Those motherfuckers give us food. Donald Trump don't give a fuck about that. Donald Trump's gonna eat. He's rich. Fuck you and me. Fuck us when it comes to eating. That's why he doesn't give a fuck. Donald Trump will never give a fuck. I think we're too fucking deep in this shit. I don't even know how to fix this. If it's even possible to be fixed, it's gonna take decades to get back to some kind of normality. Decades.
So watching these farmers on the internet and in these interviews on these news channels brings one thing to mind to me. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. So you mean to tell me you want the federal government to bail you out after you voted the way you voted? You voted for this. Mind you, this freak did the same thing to the farming community the last time he was in office, and you all had to be bailed out. So you want taxpayer dollars to bail you out again when this is what you voted for. The level of delusion and privilege is mind-blowing to me. And then you're upset that people lack empathy for you when you had no empathy for anyone else. You voted the same lunatic in office, and he screwed you the last time, and you're shocked that he's screwing you again. Make it make sense. Like I said before, MAGA, y'all are not smart. Y'all are not smart. I'm not sure why you keep doing the same thing and expecting different results. So you shouldn't get any sympathy. You should not be bailed out. You should sit in it because this is what you voted for. These are your choices. And you can't say you didn't know because he screwed you the last time. But now you want us to feel bad for you, and you want our tax dollars to bail you out. Make it make sense. It makes absolutely no sense. And you should have to sit in it. You should have to deal with the consequences of your choices and the consequences of your votes. Because you knew better. Because he did it before.
To all my farmer neighbors, my name is Susie, and I live in rural Missouri. You were warned over and over and over. We told you there was no drag queen story hour. There were no furries in our school using litter boxes. But you guys refused to call the superintendent of the schools like I did. I called Rolla Public Schools and asked Dr. Dare if there was any truth to that. He laughed and said maybe I was watching too much TV. We told you that China signed 20-year contracts with Brazil for soybeans. You laughed in our face. I'm not going to say I told you so, but I do not want to bail you out for the next 20 years, and I will fight against it. China signed 20-year contracts with Brazil for soybeans because of Donald J. Trump. They don't want our soybeans. They don't want our beef. They don't want our wheat. They don't want anything we grow. As far as we're concerned, China can stick it up our ass. And can you blame them? Can you really blame them?
Critical thinking is so fucking valuable here in 2025. Like, you have no idea. If you're someone that can think outside the box and really put like pieces together in your head regarding what can occur or what can happen, like, you are fucking valuable. I know that this world makes it seem like critical thinkers are people that are like conspiracy theorists, or they just like, they don't want none of that in the United States. What made me think of this is this whole farmers situation, right? The farmers in Arkansas and farmers all across the United States are sounding alarm bells, right? Like, they are saying like, whoa, we are in dire need of help, right? We cannot survive with everything that's going on. But guess what? One of the biggest reason why they are struggling is because of who they decided to vote for. They overwhelmingly voted Trump. Okay, so Trump received a huge amount of support in the 2024 election from farm-dependent counties, securing around 78% of their votes. If I was someone with critical thinking skills, I would say, should I vote Trump? Well, let me see what he's trying to do here, okay? Because he wants to basically send every immigrant back to their countries, right? Is that a good idea for me? Because who do I depend on for labor? And then I also think about the things that he wants to do. He wants to cut a lot of government agencies, right? He wants like less federal government. Well, look at something that he decided to cut. One of the things that Trump had cut was the United States Agency of International Development, okay? USAID, or USAID, however way you guys want to say it, right? And guess what the fuck they do? Well, everyone was cheering them on like, yeah, that's wasteful spending, right? Like, sending food across the world is wasteful spending, but okay. Let's just play that game, right? Waste, right? But look at this. The USAID, they play a huge role with farmers, okay? They said that it's one of the largest buyers of U.S. grown crops, as it spent about $2.1 billion a year worldwide for food aid. And now add this trade war that they have with China, and look at some of these farmers that depend heavily on trade with the Chinese market. A lot of people just fail to see the bigger picture. A lot of people cannot critically think to say, okay, if A happens, then tell me what happens next. What's B and C? You know, what does that look like? They can't do that. They can't see beside themselves. They can't think besides themselves. They live in this linear box where only they exist, and they can't connect the dot. And that is extremely scary. But it makes perfect sense considering education in the United States. They don't want you to critically think. They don't want you to put pieces of the puzzles together. That's why they don't spend extra on education. And I don't feel bad for these farmers. I do not feel bad. You guys can go claim bankruptcy, which you have. But one thing that I will not allow is a dime of tax-paying dollars to go to you guys when we try to warn you. And not only that, some people were not even supportive of student loan bailout. So you guys can go kiss my fucking ass and go reap what you fucking sow.
Like, seriously, lovelies, this whole thing is just heartbreaking. This is a situation whereby you are the reason for your downfall. You are the reason why all of the things that is happening to you is happening to you. You know, during the time of campaign and elections and all of that, these same farmers crashing, crying, complaining are the same people who contributed with whatsoever thing that they are going on right now. They massively voted for this. They are calling and crying for forgiveness. They are crying for help because they can no longer take it anymore. Okay, let's talk about the soya beans. It happens that China are the ones who actually require these soya beans, and they need to be exported to China, right? And now, with what is going on between China and the States, do you actually think that China will want to have any business to do with the farmers here? So that means these people will just keep on losing and wasting their food, their farm products. Definitely, China is going to source their, importations from somewhere else. They can source from somewhere. They can source maybe from Canada or wherever else that they feel that these guys are ready to do business with. With this whole thing going on, there is this particular pan-colored lady who decided that she was going to call upon eyes on some Chinese workers. In this situation, you're calling eyes on some Chinese workers you knew fully well that they are there to actually do their job and go back to their country. The same thing happening with these farm owners. You knew deep inside of you that you don't have any form of plan B. You knew inside of you that your workers, probably the immigrant who have been doing this job for you, maybe on a cheaper rate. You know that these guys have a very big influence on your farm product, but you decided that you are just going to vote against your own interests and get them all deported. Not only that, Orange Man who have promised you heaven on earth is here imposing tariffs here and there, creating enemies from countries that is not even supposed to. What baffles me is that majority of these people complaining knew exactly who Orange Man is. They knew his kind of person. They all saw all of the handwriting on the wall, but I don't even understand why they felt that most of the things that he is saying he was going to do for them, he was going to do it for them. Like, you saw the big handwriting on the wall. This person is not as if this is his first time of bringing the president. You know what he did the last time. You allowed him to do it again, and you are all out here crying and having all the emotional breakdown, knowing fully well that this was going to happen. Or were you expecting something different? Were you expecting a different approach? You should know the kind of person you are dealing with, which you know. But it's just that because of the level of racism you have, you really do not want to tell yourself the truth. Like, seriously, I have been seeing so many farm owners coming out, going bankrupt. Oh my God, soya beans, our product is getting rotten. There's nobody wanting to, export our product from us. Like, as if you don't know that this was going to happen. When they say weigh and seize is very expensive, this is exactly what they meant by weigh and seize has consequences. You were all doing whatsoever you were doing, thinking that it was going to affect a particular set of people. Like, I was going through some commentaries, on my For You, and somebody was like, the level of outrage and cry coming out from these, white farmers, why are they not seeing the same thing on black farmers? And I have to leave a commentary. There is a situation whereby you keep oppressing someone, you keep suppressing someone, and this person will find solace in the oppression. Then whatsoever you do might not even get into this person anymore because the person has overcome it. I think this is exactly what is happening to black farmers. They have been the one, at the receiving end. They have been the one suffering, and they have found a way to overcome things like this. That is why they are not even coming out to cry. Like, why am I not seeing black farmers crying like this? Because they have already been put in so many situations, and they found a way to get over it. They found a way to solve it. They have always found a way. That also brings me to why the 92% and 80% voted massively. People were thinking that 92 and 80% actually voted for their own selfish reason. No, no, the 92 and 82% voted for the sake of every other person, not even for their own sake. Because these guys know exactly what it means to be oppressed. They have won the show, they know how it hurts. So therefore, they decided that they were going to come out in massive to vote the way at which they voted because they don't want other people to face what they faced. They don't want other people to undergo what they've undergone. but people misunderstood them, thinking that, oh, they just wanted a black woman to be a president. Like, Kamala Harris is not even that black woman, like, you know. But they knew, they've done their own research. They knew that, okay, with her being in the said position, minority group might not be this oppressed. Like everybody might just, but no, you guys wanted the message you wanted, and you have it. He has always been the person that you've always wanted, and you have it, and now you are crying and asking for help, asking for, for someone to come save you. As if you don't know that this was going to happen. As if you've not seen all of the handwritings on the wall. Like, come off it, lovely. Sometimes we just have to tell ourselves and actually stop with the pretense. Anyway, lovely, so just leave me your own thought in the comment section of what you think of this video. Please do not forget that we do not support any form of bullying and harassment. We are just here for educational and informative purposes. So, lovelies, if you don't subscribe to your girl, a huge favor to click on the subscription button, like, and I will see you, lovelies, and I upload.
Subscribe to this channel. Do your girl a huge favor to click on the subscription button, like, and I will see you, lovelies, when I upload the next one.